the hospital. They can be on a nasal cannula inside the isolate. They can be inside an oxy hood. Now hoods they use now, I don't know, we use a hood. This is a hood. It's a use once and toss.
What's it called?
A hood.
A hut?
A hood. It comes in sizes from this size right up to one big enough to cover an entire bed. So now instead of croup tents, we use something like this. This, huh?
The whole plastic around some of these space ideas just, I don't know, it's just absurd.
It's like you tell your kids not to put a plastic bag over their face.
I know, it just collapses.
This is actually one of the smaller ones. And I really don't think it'll fit over that guy. His head's too big.
It's like The Boy in the Bubble with John Travolta years ago.
Bubble boy.
Mary, who's got their eye on you?
Hmm?
Who's got their eye
I
on
don't
you?
know, but that is weird. It's kind of creepy.
Ken's son drew it.
Ken's son? Oh, he brought his son with him when he came in?
Yeah.
I see them in shop right sometimes.
So you said you use the oxy hut instead of the croup tent now?
Yeah. Croup tents are pretty much out of... Did you ever use the croup tents? I don't even use them anymore.
What's that?
Croup tent. No.
They don't even use
Yeah. But this is something that can actually go inside the isolate. And this guy can cover his head. And then you don't want any oxygen, especially if it's cold, blowing right over the baby's face, because that creates cold stress. So you put something like a Briggs adapter in there so that it goes out and around the baby. And this actually fills with humidified oxygen. You always make sure you have an analyzer in line because you want to make sure you're giving them the FiO2 that they want to get. And then this just goes over their face and they can get oxygen, and the rest of the body is out, and the nurse can do whatever she wants to do. But most of the time, we'll just use a nasal cannula.
You got all that?
You can supply Cpap to infants through the ventilator. And next week, when we do the ventilators, we'll look at putting the baby, how you said, put your settings on 2 different ventilators. To put these little people on Cpap. But what we're going to look at today is bubble Cpap. Bubble. Very short laboratory.
So for that part of the laboratory, do you want us to use the bubble Cpap?
Bubble Cpap. We have 2 different variations of the bubble Cpap. Cool. We need water. I've got a bottle of water over here. No, you don't want to.
So we're not going to use the oxy hood at all because we don't have that?
Yeah.
We're not going to use the oxy hood at all?
No, you don't have to. No, you just
you have to open it and
but not
explain
use
it,
it.
or do you want us to just like open it up and show how we would do it, or?
Just say
Show
that
how
we
we
break
hook
it
it
up
up.
to put it in.
How I just did, so that the flow does not go around the baby. That would be hooked up to an aerosol. Remember the
like an
nebulizer
LVM?
bottle? Your FiO2 is retrained right here,
Yeah.
so you don't really need a blender. So you're going to have a precise FiO2 going through there.
And that can deliver up to 60?
That's even higher. It can actually go up to 100, but I've never, if your baby needs 100 FiO2 you're not going to have something like this.
Hand them too, right?
Huh? Oh, good, Jillian.
60 or more.
Jillian's causing trouble, you guys.
Set at 60 each.
Sweaty.
At 60 each.
Okay, they want us to put a Cpap of 5 and an FiO2.
Okay, now what happened was, this was something that they used, God, before I even went into the field. And then it fell out of favor for various reasons. Like we talked about earlier, it doesn't have any kind of alarms. And it actually vibrates and creates kind of a vibratory condition inside the airway. And doctors kind of fell out of favor with that. They didn't think it was good. And for some reason, it made a resurgence. because now they kind of like that whole vibratory thing.
Isn't that
So-
more or less what the what is it?
Oscillator?
Yeah, the oscillator and the jet do. Don't
Right.
they give that same
That's
kind
the
of
same
vibrating
principle.
thing? So,
Same principle. But you don't put a baby on an oscillator if they need a CPAP. That's
Yeah.
kind of a overkill. As you can see, I have a heated humidifier. This is the device that actually delivers the pressure. I have a dial on top here where I can dial in how much pressure I want the baby to receive. And what happens is this thing in the middle here goes up or down as I turn this dial. The farther this goes down into the water, the more pressure is generated. So if I have this on a 7, it goes deep into the water. If this thing was all the way full to the fill line, and it's going to generate 7 centimeters of water pressure, CPAP. If I dial this down to 4, you notice it comes up in the water a little bit, so it's going to generate less pressure. It's underwater because it's going under the water, and that's creating that back pressure against the baby's airway. Huh?
I was explaining that.
Mary, did you say that what if we needed sterile water or?
Sterile distilled water. Anytime somebody is breathing something in, you're going to use sterile distilled water. I mean, that's kind of a given. If they're going to breathe it in, we talked about that in first semester. If they're going to breathe it in, you're going to use sterile distilled water.
On the new part.
Not out of a what?
Oh no, his.
Especially the sink here. So, we have our heated humidifier.
Not good on the one part.
This is our pressure relief, our pressure pop-off valve. We have an oxygen analyzer in line, and this piece of equipment is creating our back pressure. It's hooked up to nasal prongs. You can put a continuous feed in line. Oops. Did you just hold that thing?
God, Alyssa.
And I have a cough drop.
You have to have a seal. Oh, I know what I was going to put. I was going to put a pressure manometer. I'll go get one later. The prongs that goes into the baby's nostrils. All right, now. And you want to be certain that you have the right size prongs for the baby. Now, there are several ways to secure this onto the baby's face. Most of these things come with a little hat, and the little hat has a little Velcro strap on it, and the Velcro strap can go on to hold this in place. We'll do that in a second, but first I want to just turn it on.
You've seen the safety pins with rubber bands.
I'll show you that in a second.
The safety pin?
But you have to have pressure. Nothing's happening now, but if I occlude it, now I'm starting to get bubbles. So if you have a leak in the system, the baby isn't getting anything. Now the reason they were saying that they don't like to use this is because it doesn't have alarms. You don't know if it comes out of the baby's nose. You don't know if your water level is too low or if something is disconnected because you have no alarm. The only way you can tell there's a problem is if the baby's alarm monitor goes off and their saturation starts to drop or they start to become a bradycardic or tachycardic because of lack of oxygen. But by applying pressure, if I have a closed system, then I'm getting the bubbles. Now I'm going to go up to 5 centimeters of water. Let's go to 6, and you'll see this is going to go further down into the water. Now when they first started using this, I don't know if they still do, but instead of water, they used acetic acid, a combination of acetic acid. Anyone want to tell me why they did that?
Acetic acid?
What is acetic acid? Vinegar. And vinegar is bacteriostatic. Because in the early days they had an open system. And instead of using water, they would put acetic acid in there to keep down bacterial growth. Huh? So you have your humidifier, your pressure relief valve, you have the flow from your flow meter coming in, and now you would have hooked up to a blender, Tracy. This you would definitely hook up to a blender. And the only reason I don't have it because it's a whole bunch of trouble to hook the blender to all that stuff. You have an oxygen analyzer in line to make sure you're giving the baby the FiO2 that you have set, and then you have your underwater Cpap device.
Will the doctor tell you how much pressure to give?
Yes.
That'll be in order.
That'll be in order. The prongs come in different sizes, from like a pre-neonatal size right up to a full size infant, or even up to a 3-month-old. And do you use masks? Yeah, that's for, they have little masks now that you can put on the neonates to give them Cpap.
Can we hook it with the hat so we can see how it goes?
Okay,
I'll
could
help
you
you.
hold on to that?
Yeah, that can hold.
Yeah, I tried to put it on this guy, but his head's too big. Okay, take the weights off, put the hat on first. Not in the eye. But a lot of times if they're under the belly light, they'll have that thing over their eye to protect their eyes so they don't get blind. And you have your little Velcro straps on here. So then you're going to put this in his nostrils. You want to be careful that you have the right size fit. You also want to be careful that you don't have it too tight against the septum of the nostril. They've actually, in one of your textbooks, there's pictures of babies where they were left on this thing forever with this thing and actually necrotic areas
I was
on the
gonna say
septum.
they had. Somebody was telling me they had a. You have to check. You want to check the nasal prongs because they. I think it was Monmouth maybe. They were saying they ended up. The baby ended up losing like part of its septum. They didn't change.
Didn't you read somewhere that you could use like the duoderm somehow with the...
Yeah,
They
you
do,
could
sometimes we put the duoderm to kind of protect the nostril, or to protect the septum. And then the other way that you can do it,
Superhero.
if you don't have this, or if it doesn't fit around the baby's head, do I have another hat somewhere?
There's a mess.
I thought I might have. Do I have any more hats still?
So this goes over the head.
Yeah, I got the little one on him.
And then this
I was
goes
hoping I
over
had one that was slightly bigger.
Purple thing?
Purple thing?
Is there any in the,
No, I just looked. Okay, so anyway, if you don't have the Velcro, I'm going to take the Velcro off here. Or if it doesn't fit on the baby's head, it won't come off. Hmm?
Oh no, it's talking about There's another hat.
Oh, okay, that one's slightly bigger too. Good. I know at Monmouth we have this group of ladies who knit hats for the babies, different sizes. My granddaughter still has her hat that the ladies knitted for her.
I think Molly's one of them. They make some bows on the hat.
Yeah, they make them so cute.
The girls will get
Yeah.
little big bows.
I would not want to do that.
What's the difference? You just
Marianne
use
was telling us somebody actually
non-disposable diapers.
nonchalant,
Not next to their
nonchalantly,
head,
but
though.
Oh, I
accidentally
need 2 more
pinned it
pins.
to
I don't have enough
Didn't
pins.
remember.
But just so you get the idea, it would be 2 pins on either side.
And then they use a rubber band.
Right,
in
and this
between.
between the 2 pins. And then you need a rubber band.
Yeah.
And this is like legit.
Yeah, that's what they do in Mama.
You're okay with that?
Use this?
Yeah, that's how they use it in Mama.
Okay.
Jaco saw this. It was okay.
So do we have to do 2 different hats in checkoff or just one?
Probably just one. I don't know. Jillian, you guys don't use the pins, do you?
Can we just use the
I don't know if that's
Can we
something
just
that...
use
No, keep it
Velcro?
Cpap in checkoff. Cpap's just one
This is
section.
something that we got actually from one of the residents.
So it's like, for this one, you just push it up like this, and that lowers how much pressure. And for that one, you just turn it like that. This is one I use it with.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Sorry, I'm getting
Okay. And so that's just another way of holding it on there by using the 2 safety pins and using a rubber band to hold it in place. I kind of like the Velcro thingies myself.
No, and then they put what was it? The furry side of the Velcro on the sides. They wrap it and, like, you know that stuff you buy at like Home Depot, like the Velcro stuff. They put it on this part to block it, as like instead of using like having something like this to
Protect their little heads, yeah.
They use Velcro on there.
Okay, so that's one method.
What?
Yeah. The other one, thanks to Crystal, is this version of pretty much the same thing.
This will all be a part of it together.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Did you really have to
It's the
add
newer
that?
one.
You gotta bring more equipment and put it all together.
Well, it's the newer one. It would have.
right?
Yeah, this is the newer version.
So when you go to the hospital, you might see that one versus that one.
We'll make our own.
No, you don't have to put 2 together.
Let's make our own nice video.
See?
So we
Pick
can
the
choose which
easy
one we
one.
put together?
I was gonna say that's the easier one,
Okay.
I mean, they all work the same, right?
more or less. That one you just twist. That one you just hit the rod.
Okay, now look at this part here, just like on here. Okay, here is your pressure. This is where you would hook it into your flow meter. You have a pressure relief valve here, or a pressure pop off. You would have water in your underwater seal, and you can see you have the numbers right on here. So the further it goes down, the more pressure you're generating. And I love the funnel. I guess that's what you use to pour the water in.
Good job, Crystal.
Oops, sorry about that.
So nothing changes up here. This is all the same.
Now, I'm not used to this one. I'm used to this one. But as you can see, there's not that much difference in the setup. You still have to have your heated humidifier to make sure, even though you have water here, you want to make sure that your baby gets humidified, it gets heated. You want to make sure you have that pressure pop-off or that pressure relief valve. And then you're going to hook your oxygen into here.
Do they have to do both?
Yes.
Both what?
So confused.
Both bubble CPAPs.
You just said no.
You
just
said
said
no.
no. You just said no.
You just said why do
I
they have
asked
to
you,
do
do I have to
two?
set up both of them? And you said
I
no,
said,
just
oh,
one.
why would you
And
have to
I
do two?
said,
I don't
Why
recall
would-
saying that. I don't
You
even
just
recall
said
the
it.
question, but the answer is yes.
Oh my God.
I didn't hear you ask that either.
I didn't either. I don't
Yes, she
remember
did.
hearing that.
Like, okay,
She
then why
did.
would you
Hear
want
me?
to set up two?
She did.
So
Or
you
maybe
know
she
how
thought you meant the
system
mask
works.
or something.
And this is the device that's going
Right,
to go. Your
today,
prongs
Caitlin.
would fit in here. This is your circuit that's going to your baby. One's for insulation, one's for exhalation. And again, your pressure is controlled by this device. And if I include this, then you're going to get the bubbles. If I bring it up higher,
No, kind of a stupid question. Does the 6 have to be showing if it's set on 6, or does it have to be under?
see the line right there?
Yeah.
You want the line to be down there.
So that
Right
would be
at the
on
line.
6. So
So the
the 6
6 would be
above.
showing.
Okay.
So the nasal prongs just snap in there? Or something?
Yeah, have a
They
different-
have. They
Go
didn't
ahead.
have any there, but there's like little nasal prongs and they just snap right in here.
Oh,
Do they have the mask?
That's. It's this. Wherever that little thing measures.
Do they have the mask? I
Yeah.
think it wanted the mask.
Listen, okay, it was like 4:30 and I was already running late to go pick up Allie.
Okay, you
On
have a
Friday.
bed, you have your little hat with your little Velcro. Now I like this one because it wraps around. It wraps around the tube. And the hat is kind
So
of like.
where's the oxygen analyzer go in line with the?
Yeah.
It just
That's
had
what I'm
everything.
saying. How are you
Message.
winning?
Right here. You would take this out and stick your
It's
oxygen
not even
analyzer
set
in
up
there. Just
right way
the
so
safe
you can
place
see
is
it.
in that one.
Take that
Is
off and put that
there,
on it.
Okay, cool.
And how would you set the...
That's why I said it hooks up exactly, right?
No, this is Cpap. So you're setting the
don't need-
pressure
you
by
just
this
need the
stick.
pressure, okay.
Right.
And the temperature probe, we're just gonna put.
Well, if you're using the Fisher Pacal, You're going to be measuring the temperature down here,
Right.
and then you would have to put
In a
another
non-invasive
thing in
mode.
line, and I think I have it on this one.
Where's the analyzer go over here?
And that where that blue.
And you can
Yeah.
stick a temperature probe right in here.
I sent you a picture.
The analyzer would go right in here. We take this
She just
out.
did. She just said the analyzer goes right here.
Can you hook it on that?
And you stick the analyzer in there.
And what's this again? This is the
Pressure
That's
relief.
the pressure
Tubing?
pop-off valve.
A lot of playing to do today.
It's all twisted over there.
For this particular,
Okay.
for this particular check-off. Can I see the check-off?
Sure.
I think there's two of them.
There's 3.
One is nasal Cpap, which would be this. Oxy hood, if you can show me the hood. Don't bother with all that other
Just
stuff.
snap it and say how it works.
Right. And tent, don't worry about it. We're not doing the tent. You can cross that out. Oxy and tent, we're not going to do it.
We're never doing it early this year, huh, Mary?
We're never doing it?
No, we're not doing the tent. Do not worry about the tent.
So there's no actual check-off for
Through the mess of tubing?
I think it goes through the nasal tubing.
No, and then we still have.
Where's the check-off for that one?
This is kind of small for this kid's head.
I think this is that.
that's the
This is that, but then what about?
And the cool thing about
We're
this
only
one,
using that for manual resuscitation, not Cpap.
But is there a checkoff for
That's
it?
what I'm saying.
Where
Is there a
is
check-off
it?
for the
No.
Neonatal?
Is there a check?
well, the Neopuff actually kind of goes along with everything because anytime you resuscitate the baby, you're going to use the Neopuff.
So we'll just do that with CPAP.
Right.
That was what I was trying to get at.
So there's
And
only
this tube, it actually goes through here,
So we're doing the whole
and
thing.
then this thing